Thanks. We are joined this morning by Kevin Donlan, co-director of Guerrilla Job Search International. Kevin, thanks for coming in and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Joanne.
All right, you are here today to give us hope, right? The job search, so difficult for some people. But what's kind of the #1 thing we need to do to give people hope for the new year and finding a job?
Well, do whatever you can to have a physical meeting with the person that you want to meet on the inside of the employer, whether it's a letter in the mail or an in-person meeting. Everyone's using email.
Yeah.
Everyone's clicking and applying online. Try to turn your online contacts into offline meetings and you're ahead of the game.
Okay, but how do you do that? It seems much easier to just do things online. So
Sure.
give us some examples of how you actually go about doing it.
Well, it's the holiday season. There's still going to be some parties going on, for example. So if you're going to any parties in the month of January, first thing, know who's going to be there so that you can know who you want to meet at those parties. Do your research, do your homework, know what kind of position you're looking for so you can have an intelligent conversation at those parties. And you really want to have a list of 10 to 20 employers, places where you want to work, so that you'll recognize those company names when they come up in casual conversation. And that's how magic can happen. You can recognize someone across a room talking about your ideal employer, and you'll say, "Excuse me," and walk over and have a conversation with them. And finally, you really want to approach any meeting that you're having with somebody. You want to go there with the idea that you want to give first. You're not there to get a job lead. Of course, you'd want to be hired, but the more you give to other people without expecting anything in return, that's how the magic happens. Again, people will be happy to hear from you. They'll be happy to take your phone calls, and if you give first, you can get back in return much more effectively.
You brought some really neat examples of people kind of thinking outside of the box.
Sure.
Share some of this stuff with us.
Well, here's an easy one. We call this the Trojan thank you note. What you can do is, everyone again is emailing their resume.
Yes.
Well, why not fold your resume up small, put it inside of a thank you note, mail it to the employer. Only 2 things come in these small square envelopes: a party invitation or a thank you note. It's good news or good news. So when you open one of these, you're in a good mood, and oh, you're in a good mood. Oh, and here's a resume. Well, and the letter begins, "Thank you for reading this letter." It doesn't say to whom it may concern. And you end up, the employer's in a good mood, and they'll call you more often than not. We've had very good results with this Trojan thank you note, as we call it.
I love it. And on a cover letter, by the way, the most important thing on a cover letter, what do you want to see?
You can include a PS, because smart advertisers have known this for 100 years. If you start reading your junk mail, you'll find a PS. It's because the PS always gets read. So you want to put your strongest possible statement in your PS, because it's going to get read. Something along the lines of, "PS, call me to find out why my last manager said Sally was the best hire I made in 23 years.
I love it. I love it. Okay, this is neat. Let's talk about this. They're talking about thinking outside of the box here. What is this?
Well, yes, this was a guy who got very creative. He mailed, by the way, this got a fellow hired by his former employer, so pay attention. He mailed some tangible things. Again, this is the opposite of email, right? This went in the mail to his employer. He called this tape, and it said, "For perseverance with stick-to-itiveness attitude to succeed, key to unlock the territory's potential, and string to tie all this together." He mailed this in a box with a coffee cup and said, "I'd love to have a cup of coffee with you." He was interviewed and hired by his former employer after they had originally rejected him about 70 days earlier.
I love it. And you got this, we are actually out of time, but I mean, just the creativity of visual, beautiful, you know, putting this stuff together and mailing it instead of just online.
Do whatever you can to make physical contact with a target employer, and that will increase your chances tremendously.
And your website, real quickly, for people if they want more information.
www.mynewjobhunt.com.
Kevin, thanks so much. We'll put a link to your website, by the way, on our website, WXYZ.com. Good luck to all of you searching for a job, and Kevin, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, back to you.